All right, so wanted to go through this because I know a lot of people are starting to use Cowork or starting to just get up on automated systems or seeing things that are out there that are, oh, like, Cowork can help me with all the parts of my business, or you should have everything automated. And I know that can feel really overwhelming. So wanted to walk through what 20 minutes of discussion with a content creator who does a really high volume of YouTube content, how the conversation itself was able to basically outline an entire process for automating, let's say, like 80 to 90% of the non-recording videos, right? Like, obviously getting up on camera is going to be one thing, but the research that goes into it through one conversation was able to outline a system that looked pretty clear and concise, especially because he had built up on a lot of different work, about how this could be working in the background. So this, I'm just going to run through the final delivery of the setup of what this is going to look like. It's going to be a little different than just sharing on Cowork, because that would just get into showing all the files and everything. But this is what you get: 20 minutes out of a conversation just ends up looking like this, right? Starting off how to install and connect everything, easy instructions. If you're nowhere with Claude right now, nowhere with Cowork, no big deal. This will just walk you through exactly how to set up Claude, exactly how to set up Notion, which you're going to want to have some kind of place to end up collecting a lot of your data. You can collect it on your actual desktop, but Notion is a little bit better, cleaner, and allows for, especially if you want to hand it off to someone else or you have other people on your team to be able to see it. Notion really sets up really well. And then you're just going to start connecting it to, Cowork, to different integrations: Notion, Google Drive. If you use it, Beehive has a good MCP now, which you can get hooked up on if you're over there. You're going to sometimes want to allow it to use for Chrome, especially if you're going to have your part of your process being actual research, because it's going to be able to invoke Chrome to be able to actually go to some of these websites, especially if they're like password protected, or be able to do some of the research on the exact places you want to see. And then we just went kept right through. It's like connect your Cowork folder. Really, it's takes some work, but obviously you're going to set up the files. This is exactly where you're going to set up the files on your computer, and then it's going to get to the skills, right? So if you're in the content creation, if you're just in a world where you're kind of doing a lot of the same things over and over again, you want to make skills that are going to be able to stack together to perform the actual end product that you want. This person wants high-end YouTube scripts in the end of it, and this is going to set up the skills to be able to do that. So you're going to get a voice DNA. Look, if you have a lot of things written, a lot of talking, you have to have a voice DNA skill that's going to really just show exactly how it is that you speak, how you articulate, words you like to use, patterns, all this stuff. If you have this is a good reason why it's good to talk and write, because you can set up a pretty comprehensive voice DNA skill. You're gonna set up a video research skill, scripting skill, what the newsletter content skill looks like, social media, and this is all born from the things that are already done in this pipeline. If you're a person that's been doing stuff in the background a lot on your own, it doesn't have to be content. If you've been doing work in the background and you have lots of examples of this work, this stuff getting set up as skills in the background for you is just, you're going to absolutely speed run to having this done sort of while you sleep, if it's set up correctly. And none of this is rocket science. It takes a little bit of work. There's some conversational layers that start at the beginning of it, but in terms of actually putting it together, this is how it looks and how you can start to really organize yourself. This is just an example of what a Notion pipeline would look like. And then the last piece of this: once you have the skills, once you have a place to store all the information in this place, content, then you can start setting up these scheduled tasks, right? It's going to go look for a topic. It's going to do the research. That's going to be a scheduled task. It's going to generate a script, and you can combine some of these tasks together into sort of just one. Like, not all of these need individual tasks, but it sometimes is good to kind of stack them together, because you can know each step along the way nothing's really failing. These tasks get put in, and then you get a workflow, and then this is some troubleshooting if things don't work. All this came out of 20-25 minutes worth of conversation, just talking about what it is you do. This can work for everybody. Talking about your problems, talking about your work, talking about your problems, talking about these things consistently is what really skips you to the finish on a lot of Cowork integrations and Cowork automations. Being able to just say it out loud, have someone ask some questions, figure it out, and then do a real synthesis of what it looks like. This is the kind of stuff that we're doing. This one is for YouTube videos. It can be for anything within your flow that you're doing. It can be set up to not anything, but like most things that you do on repeated tasks can be set up to actually be working in the background for you. And it's only going to take a few minutes to be able to do that just with talking going back and forth.